Hey guys, how we doing? We're rolling into 2026. Honestly, way more fired up to make this video compared to my last one. It's January 19th. We're over 2 weeks of the new year. How are we hitting everything strong? Are we sobering up? Are we working out? Are we trying to eat the right foods? Are we trying to get to our yearly goals? Have I failed on all of those? Yes, I have. But the key thing that I haven't failed on is building momentum throughout the whole thing. Um, that's not even the topic for today, but for anyone starting off the new year, New Year's goals, I'm not a big New Year's goals guy because you set these weird numbers and goals and try to do a huge restart and try and get these arbitrary numbers when oftentimes you don't even know why you set them. You don't want to actually set those goals and try and reach them. You want to just become a type of person who does those things naturally. I think I'll steal this from James Clear. Like you don't want to be trying to read 10 books a year. You just want to become a reader. You don't want to try and run 10 miles a week. You want to become a runner. So it's all about building momentum and just becoming the person that gets stuff done all the time. GSD, get shit done. You want to have that kind of mindset. But that's not what I even want to talk about today. The topic that I really want to talk about, and I think about this a lot, is that if you look around and then if you even look back in your own life a couple of times, you'll notice that one of the biggest skills, traits, characteristics, whatever you want to call it, there's a lot of ways to define it with words, but the biggest trait that you see in successful people are people who at least win or they accomplish some type of thing that doesn't seem like the path made sense for them is because in the beginning they allowed themselves to proceed without certainty, proceeding without certainty, or proceeding with uncertainty. There's so many times in life where you could look back and think, I should have taken that risk. I should have taken that jump. Or you did take that risk or you did take that jump. Your mindset going into not taking the risk or taking the risk is probably pretty black and white. Either you're saying, hey, I really don't know what's going to happen if I do that. I'm going to hold back. I'm not going to do it. Or you said, hey, you know what? I don't really know what's going to happen. I think I know what might happen, but I'm just going to go do it anyways. The people who often just end up stacking wins over wins, years over years, who got lucky, who accomplished amazing things you would have never thought if you looked back at them 10 years in the past. How did this person end up doing that if they started there? They often just allow themselves to accept that things may not work out, or they may have no idea how something could work out. Whatever risk they take, starting a new business, taking a new job, moving to a new city, it could go wrong, right? You don't want to have that mindset. You want to be an optimist. I like to think of myself as an optimist. But you have to accept that this thing may go wrong. I may lose. I may fail. And the only way I'm going to be successful if I just embrace that. I have to proceed without the certainty of being successful at this thing. People often say failure is good, and I agree. You have to fail. You have to learn lessons. I've failed so many different times trying to start side businesses, doing different tactics in my health, fitness, relationships, whatever that is. But it's also not even just accepting that you could fail. It's just saying, like, hey, whatever happens, happens. On one side of the spectrum, I could fail miserably. On the other side of the spectrum, I could win incredibly. I could get everything I wanted, everything I could accomplish. I could be that person I knew I could always be. All I have to do is take this jump, know that I don't know how deep the swimming pool is, but when I do jump, I really hope that, I'll float up. And if I don't, then I don't know, maybe someone will come save me. Like, we'll see what happens. Um, I'm a young person. I don't have all the answers. I'm just speaking from my experiences and speaking from the experiences that I've learned from others is that whenever there is a moment, I mean, don't go taking crazy risks all the time. You have to be calculated. You have to be educated. The bigger the risk, the bigger the education you need. That's how you kind of control these things and control your decision-making process. But if there's ever a time where you feel like you're holding back just because you don't know what could happen, and there's a couple things that, you know, could be the outcomes, think about how bad the worst outcome could really be. Think about the worst possible outcome that could possibly come out of whatever decision you're about to make. It's probably not going to be that bad if you actually think about it. You know, maybe you'll end up on your parents' couch. Maybe you have to live at your friend's house. Maybe you end up losing that job. Maybe your business goes out. Maybe the company you joined doesn't work out. Maybe you don't finish the race you wanted to finish. Maybe you don't make it to the top of the mountain you wanted to hike. But will you have so much experience, so much lessons learned, just a huge data point in your life to take back whatever, why did I fail? How can I do better, etc. But also you gain this confidence saying, hey, I have this kind of like muscle that says yes to hard things. When there's something uncertain coming up, I say yes to it. When I don't know what's going to happen, I still don't care. I move forward. Yes, learn from the failure, but also learn from the fact that you're developing a muscle to just say yes and go on and take risks. And at some point, one of those risks, one of those choices you make is going to be 100x. It's going to be a massive jump in your life. It's going to be the choice that you needed to make. And that's never going to make sense until way later on. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect the dots looking backward. That certainty may last for a year, 2 years, 6 months, maybe just a day. But once it all comes full circle, you'll be so happy you made that choice. But it takes time to actually go about it, make the decision, and then look back. So this is one of the favorite things I have to think about is I don't want to be in a safe path. I can't be, you got to play defense sometimes, right? You can't just be reckless. But, what's going to be the path that you'll look back on and say, I developed the muscle to say yes. I proceeded without certainty. I knew that could be bad. That could have gone good. I really hope it works out. And most of the time, guys, it ends up just working out great anyways because you failed, you learned, you developed that trigger to say yes. And then you just keep winning. You just keep stacking wins. And if you're smart enough, optimistic enough, can tell a story, you can tell yourself and build any L that you take into a W. So just have that mindset to just proceed about no matter what happens, I will be successful because if you look around, I'm just repeating what I can see in front of me. And I'm hopefully going to distill that mindset into yourself. I'm going to try and keep remembering that myself. And hope you guys keep crushing your New Year's goals. Thanks so much.